Hi, on today's episode, we interview Bob Doris, and that is Doris with two R's, available for being contacted at bobdoris.com. In today's interview, we go back over 20 years of digital marketing, how he has grown and maximized his digital marketing funnels from niche topics such as Chinese medicine, jiu-jitsu and grappling and mixed martial arts and how he has partnered with people creating over $5 million in revenue over these 20 years. And he is going to drop some nuggets of systemization and frameworks, helping us really dive down and decipher the difference between creating a business from scratch on Systeme.io, as well as uncovering some hidden nuggets in digital marketing itself. So can't wait to dive into today's episode with Bob Doris. All right, welcome back to another episode with Systeme.io. Today we're going to talk about some success stories with Bob Doris here as we talk about digital marketing, grappling, the mixed martial arts world, which I don't know, is there any mixed martial arts in that background or is it just grappling? I can't wait to unpack that. So thank you for coming on and being our guest today.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Got a lot to unpack today. So this is going to be good. I will provide lots of value for anybody listening. I promise.
Oh yeah, super excited. Not gonna lie, I'm excited, y'all, because if y'all didn't know, I met my husband doing some jiu-jitsu. So I already want to jump right to that punch. But before we get there, can you tell us about your before Systeme.io life, before digital marketing? What led you up to it and became that catalyst for getting your business online?
Okay, my catalyst for getting online and my catalyst for martial arts was getting bullied as a child. I got to the point where I'm unemployable because I cannot let people tell me what to do. so you can see where the martial arts would come from, right? And then working for people, it's not a fit. So I had tried to work for people forever, was miserable at it, was failing at everything. And the dream to me many, many years ago was to work from home for myself. I thought it was an unachievable dream that only a few people could ever achieve. Now everybody works from home, but back then that was the rainbow. So I took a chance. I was so miserable at something I was doing that my wife said, "Bob, you're never going to do that job again. Just quit. Let's try something else." And I took a chance without knowing anything about digital marketing at all, how to build a website, HTML, nothing. I threw together something that was just god awful and put video on YouTube and a bad sales page. And one day I went out to my garage, I was working out, I was hitting my punching bag, and I came in and looked up, and I had made $500 while I was working out. And I went, okay, I've got a new career.
Wow. That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So the first digital product had nothing to do with the mixed martial arts world.
Which one was first? No, my first one actually didn't. And it was something I failed at, although I learned a lesson. I did make a few sales here and there.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing I tried was, for any of you guys who are a little bit older, it was Site Build It, if you recall that. Okay, that was an early website. It was a website builder that had a philosophy and a plan all built into it. Just do what we tell you, right? And it's really old school. But there was a lot of gems in it for sure. And I found out that I created a product that was it was in a completely different niche. I happen to be an acupuncturist trained in Chinese medicine. So I did all sorts of content about that. Didn't know anything about how, product selection or, it's just terrible. But I created a little ebook about Chinese dietary principles, basically how to eat to be healthy according to Chinese, principles. And I just threw it on my website, and every once in a while I start getting a $35 sale for this terrible little book I made.
Wow.
But that was impressive. Then I tried something on eBay just to test it out. I tried to offer a book that I hadn't written yet, I don't know if that's legal these days, but I just made a cover and put it on eBay, and somebody tried to buy it from me for $35 also. And
Yep.
so I'm going, oh, there is money here. And to be honest, almost everything, not quite everything, but almost everything I've ever tried has made at least a little bit of money.
Okay.
At
All right.
least.
And each one a stepping block, just like fighting, like learning each move and moving forward with it. You
Mhm.
mentioned HTML. So did you learn a little coding too back in the day?
Little bit. No, I'm not going to say I learned. I knew enough to make a terrible website, which is another lesson here.
Hmm.
Beautiful sites don't really matter. A, you can make a bad offer on a beautiful site. It's not going to sell. Make a great offer, write it on the back of a Matchbox, and you can sell.
That's awesome. Okay. Well, I think that's a great transition into offers. And so, talk about the transition of, you learned a lot in digital marketing. You were selling all these different things, some winning, some losing. And now it's time to like go all in. And so, you don't have to mention any tools if you don't want to that you were with before System.io. But maybe some of the headaches that you had with software that led you to the discovery of System.io's simple and affordable plans.
Okay, I don't encourage people to try to keep, that to nickel and dime things. You got to spend money for sure. Um, but I've used every other software you can imagine. Uh, WordPress started off, ClickFunnels, um, all sorts of get response, one shopping
Mhm.
cart, active campaign. There's probably 30 or 40 different softwares I've used that over time, I kind of replaced everything just by using ClickFunnels. And I've made good money. I didn't tell your audience I've sold about $5 million online. So
Wow.
there is a lot of money to be made when you get things right. So what was the question you were asking now?
Well, you used a plethora of different tools, right? You used ClickFunnels. You said you've made over 5 million, and a lot of that with that funnel marketing, right? And why leave that and move to System.io?
Probably the most glaring thing is the value. System.io is the price. It's just ridiculous. One software I was using, this is my catalyst to move. One software I was using, after a number of years of using it, I looked and I realized I had sent them enough money for them to basically put a down payment on a small house for a piece of software. Yeah, I spent a ton of money on it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, that's why I said, hey, I made $5 million, right? But having said that, that's a lot from one person. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, the price is there. And then other things, one thing I noticed is Aurelian is constantly releasing new stuff. He's
Hmm.
upping the game all the time. Every once in a while, just yesterday, I logged in and saw something in there that I didn't know existed inside of it. And that happens pretty often. I'm not in there following what's going on in the Facebook group all that much, so I come across it just going through the platform. But
Yep.
for everything it does, it you know the value is pretty astronomical. So there's really not
Hmm.
much reason to leave it. And so far, I haven't found any reason you know to even look for anything else. I mean, it's just pretty much got it.
You got it.
If
Oh.
I needed that CRM where you're taking people through the different sales cycles, I would be using that. Workflows, I'm a maniac with. uh, then more, I only recently found out about the sub accounts, which is
Hmm.
for keeping your business organized for somebody who has. I've worked in so many niches, it's obscene. And I have all those funnels in there. And it just got confusing. Once I realized sub accounts, oh, let me move these out to sub accounts and clarity like nobody's business. So,
Oh, wow. That's
yeah.
awesome. So, speaking of the sub accounts and those systems and funnels that you have, what have you moved over successfully? 100% of your business? And if so, like what specific businesses so we can start, kind of diving into your grappling buddy that you have online.
Yeah. That's probably not going to be all that interesting, although I did sell a whole lot of them. I've got a lot more interesting things to tell you guys about.
Oh,
Uh,
good.
so I moved over. Yeah, I moved over uh, businesses in the martial arts niche. I moved over businesses in the survival niche. I moved over businesses in the music niche.
Oh.
What else? I don't think I ever. I think I just got rid of the one uh, in the health niche,
Hmm.
Chinese medicine one, and I started multiple others in women's health. I'd have to go through my dashboard to tell you all the businesses I've got there in therapy. uh, I've got a lot of them in there.
Wow. Okay. All right. I didn't even know that. And so are those branded with their personal brand, or are they branded as like their own separate brand? I call those spokes off of, Bob. Is your hand in those things, or are they affiliates? Like talk to us about how you're in so many niches.
Uh, I'm not going to encourage people to get into a lot of different niches.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just when you've got something, and if something makes money, and you optimize it the best you can, it's still making money, but it may be time to add things on. So focus on one thing first. Let me tell you that.
Yeah.
So uh, some of it has come from meeting people who had a particular skill, and I think this is something a lot of people should do. If you don't have a product, find somebody who's got something, knowledge or skill or their own product, and they become your partner.
Mm.
Right. So some of them are that, and then, but most cases, okay, you have this skill. Let's build out a brand. Let's build out an offer. You don't know how to do something. Let's give it a nice name. Let's figure out a way to differentiate what you have. Let's turn what you have, your knowledge, into a system. I'm big on that for any coaches who want to talk to me about doing that. Systematize your knowledge. That differentiates you. Give it a nice sounding name. Now you've differentiated yourself. There's no comparison between you, price wise or any other reason, and anybody else, because you have your unique system. That's a very powerful technique that a lot of people don't do. They just go, I do therapy. So I have a lot of that. One of them in the music niche. I'm not a guitarist, but I hired a guitarist to create a lot of content for me, and built out a membership site with that. And there's quite a bit of strategy behind what I did there, for a different interview. Yes, I have that. I worked in the survival niche for quite a while. That was very good. Just to motivate people, I did take that up to, this model has changed a lot now, so don't ask me about this model anymore, but I did take it up to $65,000 a month recurring revenue,
Oh,
which
wow.
is huge. Yeah. So it does show you when you get something, if you get the right thing, the right offer, it's incredible what you can do, which
Okay.
is part of why I went into this in the first place, because I realized there's no way I could ever, do that with a 9 to 5 or anything else. Just the
Mm-mm.
potential makes it so worthwhile.
Okay. So let's kind of unpack those, because I think this leads into those tips and tricks we were talking about earlier about nailing that offer. Is it the copywriting? Is it the graphics? Like, how do you know you have something that's working? Or if it's the music, like you said, or the health or the therapy, having those people come in and how you've made those successful to 65,000 a month. Like, you have definitely created a framework or a system to help all of these become gold mines. So, can you unpack that a little bit for us?
Yeah, each one's a different system. Like I said, some business models, they work for a while and they no longer work due to government regulations and all sorts of other stuff. Uh, but offer is everything. And I think if people could really get this through their heads, it took me a long time. Copywriting is important, but like I said, if you have something, a good offer, you write on the back of a Matchbox, you can sell it to people. It doesn't matter. It's got to be there. There's some ways of testing an offer. The first thing to do to test your offer is, basically just do this simple one. You give me X amount of dollars, I give you this. Keep it
Hmm.
simple. Is that a no-brainer? Are people going to salivate when they hear that, right? If not, you've got a tough road ahead of you. All the good
Okay.
copywriting in the world is not going to do it. And it's a hard lesson I've learned. I've spent months or years sometimes, beating a dead horse, something that, just was not going to sell. And conversely, I've had things, my experience has been that most things will sell pretty quickly. If you just get it in front of enough of your people, you'll find out whether it sells quickly. So that does speak to things like doing pre-sales before you
Hmm.
even made the stupid thing. Try selling it like I did on
Yep.
eBay 20 years ago, right? Yeah, just pre-sale. Find out if people want it.
Okay.
When I was in the e-com world, I was testing things. There was at one point where I was testing things on Facebook a number of years ago, just stupid stuff off of Alibaba or AliExpress, right? And I just try something new every day, and you could tell by looking at the numbers, things are kind of sale. You're kind of hanging right around, breaking even on it. You think, oh, if I just stay with this long enough, and then something else you put on and through the roof within the first couple hours. You got to wait.
Okay. All right.
Another
So,
one.
how do you put your product in front of people? Do you do paid ads or organic traffic? How? Because that's going to be the question. Like, okay, how do I put my product in front of enough eyeballs to test if it's good?
The fastest way is paid ads,
Hmm.
for sure. You can spend months on social media and putting out YouTubes and everything, YouTube videos, shorts, and get not really get much of feedback. And you can spend $300 on paid ads and know in a couple of days whether it's gonna sell or not.
Yep.
Right.
So, like you
So I
said, it's going to cost a little money. You got to spend a little bit to earn and learn and keep growing.
Yeah. Now there's a common thought that you shouldn't spend money on paid ads until you have tested and perfected your offer organically and free. Well, being penny wise but pound foolish. And
Yeah.
if you create a good offer, if you can't do it and figure it out yourself, then talk to somebody like me or you or somebody who knows how to what a good offer is, how to help you make a
Yeah.
good offer that has a reasonable chance of selling, and then just spend a couple $100 and find out if anybody wants to buy it.
Yep. Well,
So
let's
that
talk
that's
about. Oh, sorry.
no, that's the first way for sure.
Well, let's talk about those offers. We've talked about, making the offers. If it's good enough on the back of a Matchbox, it will sell, right? Now, putting enough eyeballs on it so that you can see if it's a dud. What are these types of offers? You talked about a book, an ebook, physical book, courses, communities, Canva templates. Tell us about the offers or the products that you can offer to make this $5 million that you were able to do in your digital marketing career.
Okay, well, some of that has been through the martial arts niche. So I had a number of products there. I sold training gear.
Mhm.
Um, here's a tip: go for something high ticket, something big, expensive. Don't try to do the Amazon thing where you're making $3 a piece. Go for something where the price is high enough that you can tack on an extra $150 or $200, and people
Mhm.
don't balk at it. It's not an issue, right? Um, so that's one type of thing. So I was into martial art, into MMA, very. I was one of the very early adapters when nobody in this part of the country was doing it. So I spotted products that I thought people would like, and I knew it was a hot, growing topic at that time. Back in the early, I don't know when that was. Maybe 91 is when I started, but probably early 2000s or so. Um, yeah, and I knew there was going to be huge demand there. But and I tell you, you can tell something pretty quickly if your audience isn't responding like, this is, if you don't see like they're crazy about getting it, then you're going to have a tough time. A good example is I partnered with a fella in the modeling niche, right? Who would think you'd make money in the modeling niche, right?
Now, I'm intrigued. I'm like, modeling. Like,
Yeah,
what are you teaching? Who are you speaking to? Like, that's got to be so
we're gonna
niche.
help. We're gonna help them get signed. Basically, we're gonna teach them what they need to know. We help them get signed.
Okay.
So he was doing his part. He was coaching. He was not a marketer. I'm a marketer, right? I'm not a model by any stretch of the imagination. He had the, you don't have to agree with me on that.
No, I was over here thinking, I'm like, you could, there's a niche for that, right? Like I'm looking at my husband's MMA pictures right here,
Oh yeah,
so
he's probably shredded, I'm sure. Yeah, so models are passionate. You want a passionate niche. I knew we had an offer before we signed anybody. I knew we had an offer when people were thanking me for getting them on sales calls with him.
yeah.
It's like they were thanking me profusely. Who wants to get on a sales call? Nobody. These people,
Mm-mm.
thank you, thank you. I would get them, or he and I would get them on a weekly Q&A, and they would break down crying about their dreams to become models. That is a passionate niche that is willing to spend a few $1,000 to get their dream.
Yeah, because they have to know it, right? Like they may have that one opportunity with that one agent and they need to be able to sell themselves in that 5 seconds, right? And so you really
They've got
preparing
a
them.
lot of things they need to do. Yeah, there's several steps to get there. So we had created a program
Hmm.
called a Model Accelerator, which was our step-by-step program, our signature program that they can only get from us because it's a step-by-step protocol. That's what I'm talking about. You take your knowledge, you package it into something, give it a nice name, create a step-by-step program that only we could sell because nobody else
Yeah, I
knows that.
love it. Love
So
it.
yeah, and we blew up our first month. We did about 15K revenue. So first month having the business really going, which is great for our first month of any business.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it just shows you kind of know quickly what an offer is, but you can tweak things into becoming an offer too, into
Hmm.
becoming a better offer.
Yeah. And so that offer, if we stick with modeling specifically there, you had to have a funnel, you had to have a sales team or sales calls, you had to have your course, your signature model accelerator. So you need to know how to build a course out and a place to have the course. Did you have coaching calls as well within that signature product? Like, was there a website? Did you use any kind of social media? And I'm intrigued because you keep saying, well, a strategy for the music was different and the strategy for the modeling is this. My mind is exploding with the amount of strategies you have. Like, what do you do specifically? Do you create strategies for people or do you teach them how to do this themselves? Like, I know that
Okay,
was a multifaceted question. My brain can't keep up with you with all these strategies.
well, one way you get this many strategies is you live long enough. And you start to stack them up and you see which ones work and which don't, and you mix and match pieces together. So yeah, what I do, one of the things I do is called cash flow comeback, and that's to help people to monetize existing products they have, or basically old products, old assets, their product, their list, something they've got that either has died, made money at one time, or is underperforming.
Mhm.
And my belief, well, not my belief, this is just true. I can tell you from experience, many people are sitting on something that is very valuable, but they get in their own way. They're either trying to do it themselves, figure everything out, or they're greedy. They want to keep all the money to themselves, right? Good example. One fella, I looked at what he had and going, you're probably losing, $3, $4, $5,000 a month by not mailing this list that I could be mailing for you. And yeah, I'm going to get back to it. And 4 years went by where he didn't mail the list once. And he's working on a new product, a new course. His old course was good enough. It was absolutely fine. He's thinking, so he's too close to what he does. He's thinking, I need to create a new course, right? No, most people don't need something. They need to tweak what they already have. A good example, one fella I helped out, I worked with, he was succeeding wonderfully. He was doing 20 to 25K a month, every month. That's awesome.
That is
Looked at,
amazing.
yeah, I looked at what he was doing. I went, boy, you missing out on stuff. So We talked, and I gave him some ideas. He did have a team that was working for him. To his credit, he implemented everything I said. And what we did with him, it's going to be different with each person. What we did with him was change his positioning. That's not all that hard to do if you have experience with copywriting. I just looked at his sales page and I'm going, you're selling $25,000 a month with this copy? We could kill it. Once you change your copy, your positioning. And we took an evergreen product and we turned it into a launch. We created,
Oh,
that's what I'm talking about, offers. We created a better offer with the thing he already had. So
yeah,
people, yeah,
that's phenomenal. Even just shifting my mindset from like, oh, it's evergreen, it's always been evergreen, and then you shifted it to a launch, changed his positioning in the copy. I, that is phenomenal. And so, like you said, nurturing who they are and what they already have.
yeah,
And
he did 180,000 the following month. And then, and then this bastard, he relaunched it based on what I told him. He relaunched it 2.5, 3 months later, and he was really upset. He only made 90,000.
he only made 90,000.
Yeah,
Only.
yeah,
That's a whole salary for someone out there listening right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
And so,
So,
wow. Wow. Okay. I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. I'm ready to do this. Give us some kind of framework or system that we can do with Systeme.io today. Like, give us a little golden nugget into either reviving or building one, sorry, or building something from scratch. How do you build an offer? You said it's 90% your offer. So how could I build something today from scratch?
oh boy, I've taught entire courses on just creating the offer. Uh,
Okay.
if you're starting from scratch, okay, there's a two-pronged question. If you're a beginner with Systeme or if you're a beginner to marketing, two different
Mm,
things.
good. I like that you clarified that because I think a lot of people do need that clarification. Let's sit in that for a moment. Beginner with Systeme, so perhaps you have marketing experience versus beginner with marketing.
Yeah.
Which one do you think is more important? Marketing knowledge?
Yeah, the marketing.
So what are the three things that you think you need to be a better digital marketer? Three tips, knowledge base that someone needs to be a better digital marketer.
Okay, well, I'm not even sure if that's the correct question, but 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 if your goal is to become a marketer, then yeah, building offers is the number one thing. Building offers is huge. Something else I would say would be so creating offers, and that can be just taking some asset you have and piling a bunch of other stuff on that people want. It's pretty simple to make an offer irresistible. If the person I kind of want that, but look at all these other things I'm going to get that I actually want. Okay, the value is just so far beyond what the price of this, I can't say no, right? And I can only get that for 24 hours or 48 hours, so I better jump on it quickly. Right?
Okay.
So doing that is one thing. Launching, I love launching, absolutely love it. So launching, taking whatever you've got or what somebody else has and launching it fast. Because when you do that, first of all, it's a huge influx of cash. Like I said, that guy went from 25 to 180,000 the following month. I've had twice, it's not huge, but a couple of times I did $20,000 in 48 hours. That's
Wow.
pretty, yeah. And there's
Yeah.
nothing more exciting than sitting there and hitting refresh and watching a new sale for $97 come in each time you hit refresh. It's an awesome feeling.
That's
So
amazing.
doing that, another one, this is huge. This is probably one of the biggest overlooked things. Have a promotional calendar, for God's sake, right? If you don't, then you're just making offers, when you feel like it.
Yeah.
And yeah, you got it, which kind of goes back to probably the first thing I should have said is just make more offers. So you
Mm,
have a promotional calendar where this day I'm going to offer this, next week I'm offering this. You are offering, so it makes sense. Your content, your emails are leading up to it. Email marketing is something everybody should be very good at. Um, And then
Okay.
you work launches into that promotional calendar. So you're making sales, a lot of money, sales, a lot of money, right?
Mhm.
In launches, a big tip there is get people, salivating where they can't wait to hit that buy button. We
Yep.
had people on the first launch I did, we had people ordering before it was ready to go, before we announced it. We had the sales
Yep.
page pulled up, and they were finding it somehow. And, you know, that's when you know that you've built up the excitement about it. Take whatever you launched and relaunch it 30 days later.
Mhm.
You'll
Mhm.
make almost as much money as you did on the initial launch.
Yep, yep. Yeah, I've got caught in one of those funnels where before it even launched, they had me on sales calls and I went through that. It was a whole ClickFunnels, kind of situation there. And so you're right, being able to salivate long before, and then they'd already piqued my awareness and interest to the point that even 30 days later, I was like about to buy a really high ticket item. So I understand that. And so you mentioned offers. You mentioned stacking on top of those offers, and then talking about launching it, and then there was some sales psychology and understanding like the pricing and making people salivate and all of that. And so that's kind of like the marketing knowledge that people need to work on. And how do they maximize that? How did you get that knowledge? Did you take courses, and do you help people learn this as well as you take them through your strategies and creating, systemized frameworks for their own products?
Yeah, I try not to see myself as a coach, but more like a consultant. Let's just get this thing done. Let's start making
Mhm.
some money. Not let me teach you for the next 3 months. You know, because well, that especially I'm talking about beginners, and we should talk about that in a second here. I learned it through courses, uh, and having done this for certainly over at least 20 years. I don't know, 22, 23 years. Um, having a bunch of wins, having maybe probably many more losses, things that didn't win. You learn, everything is just learning. So that's how I learned it. My suggestion, if we can talk about beginners, again, we talked about it, you have beginners in marketing, beginners with Systeme.io. If you're a beginner in marketing and to a degree with Systeme.io, but not as much of a degree, in the name of all that is holy, don't try to learn it all yourself. You're not going to do it soon. Okay, you're not going to get it because you have to learn offers. You have to learn how to create a marketing message. You have to learn copywriting. You have to learn email marketing. You have to learn launches. There's so much building a website. There's so much to do. You're probably never going to get it right.
Yep.
Instead, either pay somebody or partner with somebody. Think of it this way. If you were to learn you wanted to learn a magic trick, right? You let Copperfield, you're going to make the Statue of Liberty disappear, right? And you try to
Yep.
figure that out on your own. How long is it going to take you,
Your whole life, maybe. You don't
right?
know those secrets.
Yeah. How long would it have taken Copperfield to show you?
Probably 10 minutes. Let's go.
Yeah, probably less. Yeah. And my experience has been, I worked with my wife. She's an excellent marketer herself. And I would spend months learning a software, learning a platform. And I would turn around and teach to her in a half hour.
Yep.
I was learning through experience. And she goes, "Oh, that software doesn't seem complex." I'm like, yeah, because I did all the hard work, right?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
that's just the truth. So
Yep.
it's just if either hire somebody or partner with somebody, especially if you're doing something like coaching where you have now minimal time because you're having to
Mhm.
do the fulfillment. There's no way you're going to have time to do all the other stuff you need to do.
Yep.
So that's it. And then for Systeme, you know, at the very minimum, go in and learn all the different functionality it has.
Mhm.
System. I've been saying system forever. So go and learn all the different functionality it has, uh, because it'll stimulate your thinking. Oh, it's got courses. I could create a course. Oh, I could start tracking people in the CRM functionality. Oh, I could start sending out newsletters, and I can campaigns and I can tag people, right? And workflows, workflows,
Oh my
amazing what you can
gosh.
do with it. Yeah, some of my workflows are just sick. Things shouldn't be that complex, but that's the way my brain works. I make them. I like
Wow.
I like to
If
implement a lot
this,
of stuff.
then that, like it probably scrolls off in 10 directions depending on whatever trigger you have set up, right?
Yeah, so yeah, it does, which then leads to, I mean, this is why you want to work with somebody who is experienced already, because that gets you into segmenting your list.
Hmm.
And there's so much that of just email marketing, for example, and system can do this great. It can segment lists. Somebody signs up for a lead magnet, you tag them as they got this lead magnet. They're interested in, let's say I put out a lead magnet on how to use a wrestling dummy, right? They're in the MMA niche. And now I start sending them with things about boxing, email about boxing gloves. Total disconnect. I
Yep.
can put them on a list. I've tagged them and have workflow, put them in a campaign all dedicated to a wrestling dummy.
Yep.
Conversely, maybe I'm selling a punching bag. You got to find, and even people get on your list, and then you can offer them a lead magnet to sub-segment them into other lists. So you can really slice and dice your list down into, exactly what this person's interested in, and none of your emails ever have to go off topic.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that's the type of thing that if you're starting at beginner, you'll learn the stuff eventually, but that's what I'm telling you. You're so much further ahead hiring somebody to help you do it, to show you what to do with your particular business or partner with them, something like that.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Absolutely amazing. So you have these complex workflows and segmentation using the email marketing, the CRM within Systeme.io. And so there's two other things that you mentioned saying like ride your winners hard and other product discovery tips, so let's talk about the winners. And so you've segment them, you've niched them down, and now you're able to know which ones are your winners. How do you double down on those? Like you said, being able to not just double that gentleman's, evergreen product from 25,000 a month to 180,000 the next month. How do we do that? How, with the promotional calendar or whatever it is, like what do you suggest for optimizing those types of products?
Okay, well, you found a winner, right? You found something that people are interested in. That's the game, finding an offer that people want, right? So you've got an offer, you know people are going to spend money on it. So how good can you get at getting money from them, getting more people to do it? So you just look at the different ways, increase the LTV, right? The lifetime value of the people who bought from you. Sell them products related to it. Sell more of that product. For example, find other ways of getting in front of more people,
Hmm.
right? Maybe there's a forum, or there's a trick that I had done with one business that worked very well for us. There was a pay site where you can pay uh, to you join this site, and you can advertise yourself in there. You can do whatever you want to. So we went into this site, we paid to be in there, and we offered these people who was in the modeling niche again. We offered them, hey, how would you like to be featured in this magazine, or be in a competition to be in this magazine?
That's
Click
cool.
this link. Wow, just a slew of people, right? And that was a way you would never think of getting people.
Yeah, that's
So
strategic. That's smart.
yeah, and there's probably other similar things like to that in other, that I'm not thinking, but would exist in other niches. Um, you've got, you're on YouTube, or are you on all the different platforms? You hit more platforms. Can you mail drops? I don't know if you're familiar with mail drops. We were spending in the survival niche. We were spending $3,000 to spend to send out to 150,000 people, but we'd
Hmm.
get back 10,000 bucks, right? uh, So it's something that people never think of. There's people out
Hmm.
there who have these huge lists, right? Find a clever way to test out the list, small. So just constantly be looking, because you've got the offer. You just have to figure out how to get in front of more people, paid ads, other things.
Okay.
I think, especially if it came easy to you, your first one, I think the universe drops something easy into our laps the first time around. And we think that it's going to be easy. No, when you've got something that's working, like I'm saying, ride it hard, do everything you can to make more money from that. That's half the game, is finding it to begin with.
All right. And so as we kind of close this out, what if I'm sitting here and I'm like, all this sounds great. I still have no clue what product to choose. I still am a little lost when it comes to this digital marketing game. Like, what kind of advice do you have for these people? Because, a lot of listeners are beginners. We see the comments underneath these interviews and they're like, but where do I start? How do I get started? Like, seriously, that question is asked over and over.
Okay, well, there's the standard ways of look at look at what you do, what you know, right, and try and sell that. I'm gonna be honest though, my money has come from doing things outside the box, of doing things very different. One typically they have come from things I wish I had. So I created an app that it was just some idea I had because I was frustrated. It was in the martial arts niche. I had all this information, this knowledge, grappling knowledge, right? I was writing it down in notebooks. I was buying every DVD under the sun. I'd go out and I'd teach people, and I'm going, what am I going to teach them? I got to throw these DVDs, this is back in the day, into
Yeah.
my computer, and search through it for something to teach. And I just did not have quick access to all this stuff.
Mhm.
So I took all this stuff, put it into an app where you could go, grappling apps for anybody who knows MMA or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You can click on mount, and then click on you have the mount, the opponent has a mount, and click on he's got his arm around your neck, and then click on the next thing, and boom, there's 5 or 10 techniques you can do from that position like that. That would have
Wow.
taken me an hour and a half if I was searching through all my notes and everything else. It was frustrating to me, so I built it out for myself initially, showed a couple of people, they went, that's pretty good. Can I have a copy? Right? I had an offer. Another one, and this is probably my biggest thing that I think is really underlooked, and you could go in many directions with this. I found a catalog or a product in a catalog that was just being undermarketed.
Mhm.
Right? Now think about online catalogs. Think about Shopify or whatever, right? So you see them, and it's a picture of the thing with a short blurb under it, right? That's their SEO, right? So I took this thing from a catalog and I built out a whole freaking web page about it, and a website about this one
Yep.
product, right? And of course, I went up to the top of the search engines quickly because nobody else did that. Well, how many other products, how many companies, how many manufacturers have stuff? They're not marketers. They're focused on creating stuff,
Yep.
right? Even if you take something that's a little bit over, it might seem like there's a lot of competition, but it's just, in martial arts niche, maybe a punching bag, right? I did that with
Yep.
a punching bag. There's this punching bag I no longer sell. Somebody wrote, I haven't sold it for the last 5 years. A guy called me the other day, asked me if he could still buy it. It was just a punching bag, but I showed myself in a video hitting that punching bag, making that
Yep.
bag look good, right?
Yep.
So you take one thing, go to catalogs, go to Shopify, go anywhere where people are under marketing something, and make that your main thing. You've heard focus on one thing, right?
Yes.
So if you can do that, if you can get something that's higher priced, right? Call the company, say, what will you ship this for me for? Tag on an extra $150 for your time, right? $200 for your time. That's what I did.
Yep.
And you could sell it could be $1 million seller because it was for me.
I love it. I love it. And that's a great strategy, especially when, like you said, you have no clue where to begin finding a higher priced item and doing all the SEO. So, sitting with SEO just for a little bit here, because I think a lot of people think it's dying. And no, it's actually being revived because there's so much out there. What do you see in the trends of SEO, search engine optimization?
Now, I'm not an expert with SEO, but now that we have AI, SEO is not impossible for people to do. So I think the way I want people to think about SEO, as far as a trend, yeah, you get your keywords in there, you get your meta, your description, your title, all that. If you don't know what that is, that's why, if you're a beginner, don't know what that is. That's why I say work with somebody who does,
Yep.
right? Uh, because they'll get you going in the right direction. So you do all that stuff right. You get your pillar pages, your main content, and then associated content. Uh, but if I can go off topic a little bit, because we are talking about system.
Hmm.
Um, SEO is like YouTube. Basically your website. You're trying to SEO, get up in the search rankings, like YouTube. It's your traffic source.
Hmm.
Separate that from Systeme.io. Okay. Systeme is the cash register. The SEO or the YouTube, whatever, that's like a library. That's where the content exists, right? All that content exists. It's a bad place to sell somebody. It's not optimized for giving them upsells, downsells, tagging them,
Yep.
abandoned cart, all that. That content, including SEO, is meant to drive them to a funnel, which Systeme is like that. Now you could hack that together on something like WordPress. Oh my God, is it hard? Right. That's why I left it, is because I had so many different things hacked together and plugins and everything. It was terrible. And it's just like the clouds parted once I went to a single funnel platform. So yeah, it has its place, but that's something I think beginners really should understand, is the difference between a funnel platform and a traffic generating platform. Right? You use those other things, use SEO, whatever, and then once you got them, that creates a desire. I just built something out in the last week myself. Coincidentally, I practice what I preach. I'm bringing an old product back to life that
Yep.
sold like crazy, right? In the past, and I got a block in my head like other people do. I know people are doing this. They got blocks in their head. Oh, I can't sell this anymore. Wrong. You can. If people bought
Yep.
it ever, they'll buy it now. So yeah, so I just SEO the site like crazy. Did it
Hmm.
very fast. I'm watching in Google Console, watching the traffic going up, and the uh, the page ranking and everything is just going up. And I know that I will be getting sales the next couple of weeks. I already had one.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, so doing that, but I'm driving them from there over to my Systeme.io funnel, right? And
Yep.
once they get there, now they're gonna, they're on my mailing list. I got them tagged. I'm gonna be emailing them until they buy or die, right?
Yep.
Uh, so that's a important distinction to have. I hope that was clear, because it's very important.
I think it is clear. And a lot of people think you can build something on, system or system. It doesn't matter each one. It depends on geographically where you are. So here in America, most people say system, but a lot of people think you can build something within the software and that's all she wrote. They don't think about the traffic generation, that funnel, but that is what, this platform is doing, is really changing the game for a lot of people to get their foot into the door of the funnel marketing, but then they forget the marketing piece, the traffic generation. So now that we've seen you were able to make $5 million, right, over the, course of, since you started digital marketing. How long would you say you've been in the game doing this online? We didn't really talk about when you started.
Yeah, I floundered for a long time.
Mm,
So I would say I started uh, maybe 20 years ago or so, online
yeah,
marketing. And that was just, dipping my toes in the water, trying. Took several years before I went, hey, this is the real deal. I'm gonna focus on this hard and get really as good at this as I can, because I
exactly.
believe that I can make money.
Okay. So I always ask everyone, what is the gift that entrepreneurship has given you in this 20 years?
Well, the biggest, I don't know if this sounds trite, but it is time and location freedom.
Hmm.
My wife and I travel like nobody's business, and we don't miss a beat. We traveled, we were in, where were we last year? We were in Mexico last year. Uh, we were in Medellin earlier in the year.
Wow.
We've been down to Costa Rica 4 times, I think. And all the time, we don't care really about when we go, right? Uh, So that family is important to me. So family wants to come to visit. I don't have to say, oh, yeah, I'm working, so you can only come. Hey, whenever you want to come, fine, because I'm working from home. Who cares? Right? And I can just
Yeah,
dial back what I'm doing. So that is, internet marketing in general, that's the big gift.
that's
Not
amazing.
having to work for people, the potential to have huge paydays keeps me very excited. With System, then the ability to test an offer very fast. I mean, some days it's just sick how quickly I put up an offer. I'll have an idea in the morning. I'll be testing it by evening.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
idea, and so for me, System is that easy because I've done it, and I just know how to do this stuff. So yeah, that's the big gift. But that is, I mean, if that's not life changing enough for you,
Yeah.
you know, I'll tell you.
All right. And so, if you could describe system in one word or one sentence, how would you describe it?
Ooh, I wish I had prepared this one. uh, System allows you to maximize, well, this is going to sound a little complex, maximize lifetime value on a person,
Ooh.
on a contact, on a customer,
Oh, I like that one. Yeah.
right?
Maximize the lifetime value of a customer. That is good. I like that one. That's the first time we've heard that one. Um, so it really helps you optimize and work effectively. Yeah. Oh, I love that one. Okay. Last question. If someone is listening right now, and I know I've kind of asked this in different aspects, but I'm looking at the motivator, the mentor, and they're saying, "I'm ready." They're sitting on the edge of their seat. They're ready to go. What advice do you have for them?
This depends on where they're at. If they want me to help them, they can reach out to me at bobdoris.com, two R's in Bob Doris, and just fill out the form. They can read a little bit about what I do and send me a message through there, and I'll tell them whether I can help them or not. Um, if they're trying to do this all on their own, and if they are, I think I've warned against that plenty already. Right? If you're starting out, uh, you know, my message on that is don't try to do it all yourself. Either hire somebody, partner with somebody. If you had something that was selling in the past, reignite that.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, be smart. Be smart. Go for 50% of a watermelon than 100% of a grape. Right? Yeah.
I love that. I love that. So, if someone wants to work with you after this, I know you already mentioned bobdoris.com, again, with two R's. Is there anything else that they can get from you, or do you have any courses, any funnels that you'd like to promote, or that you're about to launch in the coming promotional calendar?
No, I don't. Um, I I don't really enjoy doing that anymore. I enjoy taking my first preference is taking people who have something that has worked in the past or they have assets they're sitting on and they think are dead and
Hmm.
getting those going. I love doing that. Courses, I have taken a million courses and I created a program called Expert Accelerator in the past, which was actually very good. I put a bunch of people through that. Um, but I think people need more than that.
Yeah.
Courses are good, but statistically speaking, believe it's that 5% of people are successful with a course. When you
Hmm.
work with somebody, that jumps up to 20 to 40% chance of
Oh,
success. It's significantly higher.
I agree with that 100%. Right? If you want to go fast and far, you do it with a team.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I appreciate all your advice. I think I could probably have 2, 3, 4 more conversations. My brain was sluggish trying to keep up with you today because there's just so much content, so many new ideas and explosions. So thank you for joining us today and sharing your success stories
Oh,
with
thank you.
our audience.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you all for joining us for another success story with System.io. And until next time, keep creating.